Hi, this is Deadman. Welcome to another episode of Expectations of an Avid Gamer. Today we're going to be talking about One Step from Eden. So this is going to be the first one in a couple episodes that I've covered that's not a remake, even though this is kind of a spiritual successor. The battle system is very reminiscent of Mega Man Battle Network, which I did talk about in my last episode. This is one step from Eden, but to me this is one step closer to playing Battle Network again. At least on a modern console. I'll also be getting this one for the Switch. Honestly, I'm not sure what to expect from this. Pretty much from the pre-release stuff, all I've seen is the combat, which does seem to be the focus of it. It does look like there's going to be some story aspects to it. I'm not sure how much story there's going to be to it. Looking at the announced trailer for the Nintendo Switch, it actually looks like it's going to maybe play out similar to something like FTL, where it's going to be procedurally generated, and whenever you go through, it looks like you can choose one or two paths every time you get to a new section. And I'm guessing it's going to probably be a roguelike. The combat, from what I've seen, actually looks like it's going to be kind of hard. Looks like it's going to be very, very fast-paced, so it is going to be a little different from what I'm used to with Battle Network. I've not played it, but Slay the Spire is supposed to be similar to that as well. I think that is also another deck builder where you fight on a grid. I'm not sure. I'd have to do some research into that. But honestly, just as per usual, my only expectation from this is good. I do want it to be fun. I'm hoping that this is going to be something that I'll kind of willingly sink hours into, because I can say, as much as I love FTL and also their follow-up game Into the Breach, I've kind of got to the point where I'll play a little bit of it, but then for whatever reason I get bored really quickly. It might just be the mindset I'm in with those kinds of games, because I do love them, and I know for a fact I've lost sleep playing FTL because it's that good. Anyway, it's beside the point. One Step from Eden, I feel like it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a nice little indie game. And overall, I hope it's going to be good. That's usually my thing. I hope it's good. So we'll just have to see whenever it comes out. Okay, so before I actually start this review, I want to give a huge shout out to Thomas Moon Kang, the developer of this game. He actually gave me a review copy of this. I was pleasantly surprised considering how small the channel is right now, about 56 people on here. But I just want to say thank you so very much for giving me a chance to review your game. I actually did end up buying it for the Switch anyway, because I do want to support you, and I do love this game, and I would like to be able to play it anywhere and everywhere. So without further ado, we'll get into the actual review. So I was right. It was a pretty good mix between Mega Man Battle Network and Faster Than Light. It also feels like there's some bullet hell in there too, with as crazy as things can get. Now I personally haven't made it past stage 3. So I did actually get one new character unlocked. But it can get pretty tough, and especially when you're, just first starting to learn the game, first starting to learn everything's battle patterns and everything like that. The bosses they're pretty good difficulty. There's still some moves I haven't quite figured out how to dodge or anything like that. I could probably place some kind of structure in front of it to negate damage. But it's a really good deck builder, and it's got plenty of customizations and playstyles. And just like with the last one, I have a pros and cons list set out. I think that's going to be the new style from now on, because it seems to work pretty good for me. I can praise some of the things that I like about it, and just kind of go from there and give some constructive criticism. I hope it's constructive anyway. So without that, we'll get into the pros. And sometimes a lot of these small things are just hilarious, and you have to put them in. So there was a lot of love put into this, and you can tell that just by in the settings screen, because that's the first thing I do whenever I turn on a game. I immediately go to the settings, tweak it to how I like, and then go from there. In the settings screen, the screen shake can literally be turned up to 11, where it will basically vibrate the whole screen back and forth across. You have I forget what the other two are called. I think it's minimal, full, and then 11. Minimal will just barely scrape your sheen. Full will give you a pretty decent screen shake. And then, like I said, 11 is just like an earthquake goes across the screen. That was really funny, and I liked how they put a joke in there like that. I liked how he did that. Granted, I haven't unlocked any new outfits yet, but you can see in the outfit change before you're actually launching into your adventure into Eden, changing outfits has a little bit of a flair to it. So not only will they have their stock animation, but when you first switch to the outfit, and also when you start the battle, or when you very first start your adventure, they'll do the little flair. So like right now, Saffron, the only character I have unlocked right now, she's in her lab coat and all that, so she flings her lab coat up, twirls around, and then her lab coat just slips on, and then she's ready to go. I like that. It's again, there's a lot of little things that make it really good. You can preview spells before actually taking them. So that's also helpful, especially when you're just thrust into a game like that. There's, I believe, there might be 300, but I know there's at least over 200 spells. And you, whenever you go to choose a new card, or you're in the shop, you can preview what it's going to look like, and see what it does. Some of them are a little kind of uncertain. You might need to get them and play around with them, but for the most part, you can see what the spells are going to do, or at least how they're going to hit in the field, which is also another good thing, because you can have a cursor that'll, on the other side of the field, that'll let you know where your stuff's going to hit. And being able to focus on certain card types to help with the roguelike structure. So there's, I didn't actually count them, but I want to say there's like 12 to 14 different categories of cards, and so you can focus on them. I was focused on the cards that gave you the, I forget what they are now, but they're single-use cards, and they don't really do anything, but the more you use them, the more powerful some of your other spells will become. And then I started focusing on the poison, because it's actually pretty cool, because you can just fire a dart at them for some damage, and then give it some extra time, and then some more damage will happen. Or my personal favorite right now is the Anubis, which just automatically poisons everybody on the field, or poisons all the enemies, I should say. When you're in the shop, being able to take negative traits for a few battles to get ahead with buffs, or they're called packs in here. So, for example, you can get 150 extra health if your deck shuffles for 4 full seconds. Basically, your deck shuffles slower for like 2 battles, and then that gives you 150 max health. And the spells are descriptive with their effects. They're pretty good about telling you what they're going to do. There's a couple terms that might be confusing, especially starting off, but you get the hang of it later on. And oh man, there is again, this is why I say this was made with so much love. There are lots and lots of references on each of the spells descriptions and the flavor text on them. I know for sure I saw a MLP one that said something about 20% cooler. I don't remember which card it was on or which spell it was on, but I did notice that, and I've noticed some Mega Man, like I think the auto revive thing that Saffron starts off with, it's called Sub Tank, I believe. I'll need to double check on that, but if I'm right, it's called Sub Tank, and Sub Tank is a healing item in Mega Man Zero. And he did say that in, I actually was looking at the Reddit AMA whenever he launched the game. I forget all the list of references, and I'll put them on the screen. But he said there was a lot of different things that he used. He took from each game, and then he put it into his own. There was a lot of inspirations that he took from other games and he put into his own, and I think he did a really great job with them. And the buffs are balanced good with shield and HP potions. They're randomly thrown on the field, and it's up to you to catch them. So you have a spell, say that you want, you get 40 shield. So you do it, you throw it, and it randomly goes somewhere on the field. You gotta go catch it to get it. So it's a good balancing thing to where you don't just use the potion. So now I know there are some spells that will just root you in place, but usually basically there's a good ebb and flow to it. So like you can heal HP, but you gotta stay in one place for 2 full seconds, and that can definitely kill you. So you gotta plan it and gotta be very tactical. and you can chain cards together to be phenomenal with stacking debuffs and buffs. As I said before, I've been using mostly poison, and so one boss, I had hit her with so much poison that she had like 500 damage, and I was just trying to like skirt around the battlefield trying to avoid everything. She had like 400 health left, and you know, that poison all hit at once, and then just boom, she went down. It's great. And I know there's other cards have other effects that can be stacked. I haven't really played with them much yet. So far, I'm just using the poison as an example, but from what I've seen on the cards and the text on them, it's gonna work pretty damn well. And there is a little bit of a practice mode after every battle, so like I said before, you can preview what the spells are going to do, but it's going to be a little bit different actually using them. So after every battle, you get kind of a lull. You can do stuff with your deck if you need to, but mostly you're able to skirt around an empty battlefield, and you can kind of play test your spells that you're going to use. So that's really cool. Upgrading can change a spell entirely rather than just increase the damage. So as I said before, Anubis is my favorite spell to use right now from the Poison series. And basically, if you upgrade it, I think there's going to be about 6 per upgrade, and you can choose 3 whenever you click on the upgrade. So basically, you can have it double cast, or you can have some frost attached to it, or just other things. I mean, you can build the deck any way you want, and it's just great. And I think I did mention before that the cards have flavor text. All the flavor texts are funny too. You know, as I said, there's some references in them, but not only that, but they're just hilarious. Like the artifact for, I think it's like healing 50 to 250 health. The flavor text at the bottom is, "I don't need it," which most of the time you would probably need it. There is fast-paced tactical action, as you can do friendly fire too, so I put that down for the note. Basically all that means is you will have to think on your feet, and you'll have to think fast. That's part of why I said this game is kind of like a bullet hell at times. So there's a couple of scenarios when you can go rescue a survivor. So you'll have the survivor right in front of you, and then a bomb right behind them, and you'll have to destroy the bomb before it goes off and kills the survivor. So, you know, you can't just shoot through them because you're going to hit your survivor. So you got to think fast, and you only have a limited amount of time. There's also treasure chests and health packs that you can get that are also like that. They're on a time limit, and if you don't get them right away in the middle of a battle, then you just don't get them. They're gone. And another great thing I thought was that Saffron starts off with an auto revive. It's great for beginners because, I mean, if you get nuked early, then that's it. Your run's over, and you didn't have a very long run. I usually don't have to use my auto revive until the second or third level, but starting off, I couldn't even get through the first boss battle without needing the revive. Depending on the boss, I might can still kind of skirt around that, but it's a great tool for beginners basically, and it's really awesome. And being able to hold down your button for your blaster, so I wrote that down before I got a new character. I forget what his name is, but he's the guy with the cloak, and he kind of looks like he belongs in the Matrix. So he's got a revolver type, and you can't really hold down for it. But for Saffron, you know, instead of like the Mega Man aesthetic, you either got to tap the button rapidly or you got to hold down to charge it up. If you hold down Saffron's, she just auto fires the whole time. So especially for beginners, just having that and skirting around the battlefield trying to get either your deck to shuffle or trying to wait for the right moment to use your spell, that's always great. And this is the one hidden feature I found via the One Step from Eden's Twitter account. The game has a hidden feature that I know of because of that, but there's probably more in there, and it's kind of bad too. So the hidden feature is if you kill the bunny at a campfire, you get a luck, or you get 1 luck stat, which makes the game a little bit harder, but you get better loot too. So that would be another way for people who want a challenge. That'd be another way to get it. So that's all the pros that I have down. Now for some of the cons or things that I might think that can be improved on. Not having a way to set your focus before you start to me, could be a little bit bad. So the focus, you can choose at the top of your deck what you want, what kind of cards you mostly want to focus on this run. So not having a way to set it before battle does kind of suck. I mean, you can set it right after the first one, but and I mean, it does remember which ones you want, or which ones you had last run, so you could just, click on it, boop, it'll go right to where you had it last. I still think maybe it could be implemented for each set or each character, what kind you would want to play with them. Just a suggestion for that. The button layout can be a little bit confusing, especially with continue being mapped to the left trigger in most places, and it'll be different for people on PC, but I play with the controller because I'm a filthy console peasant. Even though the Steam key, I did get a Steam key for it, but I still play with the controller. So the button layout can be a little bit confusing. They do have basically everything mapped to one button, which is good, so that there's nothing crossing over, but it can be just a little bit confusing at times. And if you, at the end of each battle, you can choose a new spell, but you can also choose to skip them. Just my opinion, I feel like if you're going to skip spells, while yes, that does keep your deck a little bit more focused, I think maybe you should either get more experience or maybe have like one mulligan, so like not infinite mulligans or anything, but like just one mulligan to reshuffle what you got after the battle to see if maybe you can get something that'll work with your deck. So not something that'll make the game like stupid amounts easier, but kind of one of those trade-off things, like if you don't get this, then you get this. So like, if you don't decide to choose the any of the spells that are offered to you, you can just get like 10% more XP. Not like double XP or automatically gain 3 levels or anything. Just a little edge, so that if you're not choosing a spell, you just immediately get nothing from the battle except for the experience that you want. I think either you should be able to have more removes or make them have a better drop rate. And by that I just mean like with Saffron's base kit, I usually take out the Frostbite because, like I said, I play with the Poison kit mostly, and the Frostbite doesn't really work for me all that much. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe I need to keep that in, but it's something else that could be added, and I suppose that's a way to keep it more balanced. I'm not sure how, but that's the design decision he made. And like I said, these cons are all just my thoughts on it. Doesn't even necessarily need to be done. And I do feel, though, that flawless battles should net more rewards or more focus card drops, especially because, like I said, with it being a bullet hell in some sections, if you get a flawless battle, then, it'd be nice, again, just to get like a 10% EXP boost, or to be guaranteed 1 or 2 cards in your focus, if you get a focus battle, or if you get a flawless battle. Because, like I said, that's going through a whole battle with no damage. Usually that would be a little bit more rewarding than normal. This is the last one, but I kind of feel like this might be the biggest one. You can accidentally skip your upgrades after using an upgrade token, locking you out of it. There's not really a preview for an upgrade tree when using an upgrade. By that I mean like being able to see what kind of secondary effects it would have, which I guess that is part of the randomness of the upgrade, but I do think it's kind of bad that you can just use the upgrade and then skip your way out of it, and essentially, like, especially if you buy them in the shop and then you wasted your money because you accidentally hit the left trigger. So an extra little addition that I want to make, I actually went to go get some more footage for me doing this review, and I did actually notice that the continue is fixed. I had it put down in the cons, and I was going to put it there. I'm going to go ahead and keep them there in the video because I did actually find them while I was playing, but I also wanted to make a note that it was fixed. So my earlier problem of accidentally hitting continue and either locking yourself out of getting a spell or getting an upgrade or something, that's fixed. I mean, you do have, it's still pretty quick when you hold it down, but it's no longer just an immediate button press, and I do want to commend the developer Thomas Moon Kang for pretty much getting right on that, because this is just a couple of days after it released and that's already fixed. So that's it for all that. The only extra thought I have for the end of this, I really love this game. I really do. I know those cons kind of sounded negative or whiny. That was just some little thoughts I had while playing the game. I am hoping, I doubt it's going to happen, but I do kind of hope that there would be a future option for like an actual Mega Man Battle Network style, like have, instead of the roguelike thing, like actually have her, go through her adventure to getting to Eden, having to fight the boss fights along the way. It's the story mode with like actual deck building instead of it just being a roguelike. Don't get me wrong, I like roguelikes. I like how it makes you have to have skill instead of just breeze through it. This is just an extra thought. I know the developer Thomas Moon Kang said that he was working on something else now that this is done. He's got a bunch of different ideas that he's wrote down, and I do wish him the best of luck in whatever his newest endeavors are. And that's going to be pretty much it for this one. I am really happy that this came out. I was kind of chomping at the bit for the longest time waiting for it to come out. Man, Thomas Moon Kang, you made an awesome game. Thank you so much again for providing a review copy for me. I really do appreciate that. And anyway, that's going to be it for this one. This has been Dead Man Gaming. Try not to die out there.